Here's the problem with trying to shock people. If you make that your entire gimmick, eventually you have pretty much nowhere to go. You can't top yourself. Howard Stern learned this and pivoted from doing bizarre stunts like putting literal electric shock collars on people's nuts or having women come in off the street, stripping them down to their underwear to judge them with a laser pointer, to just interviewing celebrities like a normal radio host. He knew that he'd siphoned the shock well dry. Kanye West, however, has not reached that point, at least in his own opinion. I don't personally believe that Kanye West, Yee, as he is now legally called, not calling him that, does the things that he does because he's mentally ill. I'm sure he may have some issues. He's mentioned he's bipolar and has struggled with depression. But I don't think that's what drives him to do the things that he does for attention. I think he does those things because he truly believes this is how to keep yourself in the news. And guess what? He'd be right. So, by now you may have heard, Paris Fashion Week, he unveils his Yeezy Season 9 collection. Among the items modeled, in fact, the only item modeled anyone is talking about, is the bizarre White Lives Matter shirt, which is written on the back of a shirt which features a picture of Pope John Paul II on the front and the words, "We shall follow your example," written in Latin. He was pictured wearing this while standing arm in arm with conservative political mouthpiece Candace Owens, who doesn't believe white nationalism is actually an issue for minorities, and who famously endorsed the Freedom Phone and has never once used it, still using an iPhone while claiming big tech is evil. Once the inevitable backlash starts coming in, he posts in his Instagram stories, "Everyone knows that Black Lives Matter was a scam. Now it's over. You're welcome." He then went on Tucker Carlson to ramble about a number of topics, including the shirt. When asked about it, he said, "The answer to why I wrote White Lives Matter on a shirt is because they do. It's the obvious thing." So, is he saying it was ironic? Like he wore it as a joke or to make a statement? A black man saying that he knows white people's lives matter more to a lot of people in the US certainly would be a powerful message. If he hadn't previously made statements like slavery was a choice, suggesting it was the slaves' fault for being slaves, and his bizarre statement during his ill-fated presidential run that Harriet Tubman never freed the slaves, she just sent them to work for other white people. And why Pope John Paul II? I know Yee's religious now, but this just feels like a bizarre mashup for the sake of art, to get people talking, which it did. He then shares a screenshot from a text with his dad, who is in his phone as Dad 2022 for some reason, who laughed at the shirt. He asks his dad, "What did you like about it?" And Dad replies that a black man was declaring the obvious. He then shares another text message screenshot, no indication who it's with specifically, saying, "I think a beautiful move would be to take some of the proceeds from the White Lives Matter shirts and give in a meaningful way to our people, unlike the Black Lives Matter did." To which Kanye replies, "Love this." See, Kanye's not against Black Lives, he's against Black Lives Matter, the organization. And, well, there's definitely some sketchy stuff there. One BLM chapter is suing the larger organization for one of its executives allegedly stealing $10 million. So, that totally makes sense to be against it if he feels that they're just stealing money from actual black people. But the shirt's not actually going to sell. It's not going to generate any proceeds. After the stunt, Adidas, who Yeezy is partnered with, has put their deal under review. Do you think Adidas is going to sell shirts that say White Lives Matter with a picture of a dead pope on them? Of course not. So, unless Kanye is going to start a fucking Etsy store, he's not selling any of these. But, cozying up to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, wearing the MAGA hat, pandering to an audience that traditionally has not been, let's say, big rap fans? Is that a good idea? We've seen what it's done for Kid Rock's career. His last album sold 25,000 copies, a far cry from the 11 million copies Devil Without a Cause sold in 1998, or even the 3 million that Rock and Roll Jesus sold. That's the album that had All Summer Long on it. We've seen what it's done for the careers of Rob Schneider, Scott Baio, Kevin Sorbo, Gina Carano. The list goes on. Twitter conservatives will happily reference them as real actors and artists, But are they supporting their work with actual money? I wrote this on the 8th, and there were still plenty of tickets available to see Rob Schneider at a 1,200-seat theater in Arizona on the 16th. But this is shock rock. This is Marilyn Manson repackaged for 2022. But now everyone's more scared of Christians than Satan, so he's leaning that way. That's all. Nothing really new to see here. But he gets what he wants every single time. At least 30 news outlets covered his Paris Fashion Week show. Do you know anything about any of the other shows that took place during Paris Fashion Week? No, you don't. The real question is, though, where does Kanye go from here? What more can he do? At what point does everyone just go, Kanye's doing another Kanye thing, whatever, and shrug their shoulders? When he starts dating another Kardashian or maybe a Jenner? Maybe he could marry Caitlyn Jenner? Maybe he can claim that if Martin Luther King took a 23andMe test, it would show he was white. Or announce a celebrity boxing match against one of his children. Or write a bizarre, poorly spelled anti-Semitic tweet while claiming that black people can't be anti-Semitic because they are Jews also? Oh wait, he just did that one. Man, please tell me he thinks that DEFCON is spelled DEATHCON. But keep it up, Kanye. I'm sure you never intended for your life to be more entertaining than your music, but add a few trapeze artists and some abused lions, you got yourself a better circus than the Ringling Brothers. No clowns, of course. Wouldn't want to be upstaged after all.